Whilst working for the immigration in Kent, I applied to MI5. My application was rejected 2 weeks later. In their decision letter, MI5 said that there were better candidates than me. 10 months later, I found out that myself, my family and my contacts had no privacy from someone I had known of for 3 years. This man basically told me that he and others would watch how I got on in connection to a job move to Thames House. I was told highly intrusive details that caused me to be paranoid, terrified and suicidal, and to fear for my safety and my mother's safety. I had just walked away from a harassment case at immigration, and the victimization and bullying caused me to feel I was going to have a breakdown, which is one of the reasons I resigned. So this intrusion was not the sole reason I suffered a breakdown. I was told I talked too much, and that my mother had been talking. She lived 400 miles away. I had been talking to people outside of work about girls being abused if they made complaints, and about a corrupt payment from immigration for bumped-up illegal removal figures. This man told me that he knew of people I had been talking to. He knew details about my past, present, and future relating to this job move. I ended up in a psychiatric ward in Scotland 5 days later, after driving to my mum's to check that she was okay. Eventually, when I contacted the police, MI5 failed to help the police with their inquiries, yet I had applied for a job with MI5, given MI5 all my contact details, and was intimidated either because of talking too much, this harassment case at immigration, or due to this apparent job to MI5. There was a girl in the press that took MI5 to a tribunal some years ago. She was refused a return to work after having a breakdown that resulted after making a complaint about a manager. She claimed MI5 wouldn't let her go back to work since she wouldn't accept abuse. There have been other stories of staff being abandoned by MI5 after suffering ill health or a breakdown. There is a man on YouTube who says he was abandoned and not helped by MI5 or by their psychiatrists. Apparently, according to a girl who worked for DTI, girls who made complaints were blamed, broken down to a fraction of their former selves, and forced to leave their jobs. I nearly committed suicide 3 years before the Gareth Williams case in connection to the details I was told about the Home Office and MI5. Had I died, the truth about this man's involvement the day I resigned and my MI5 application would not have come to light. The concerning texts, phone call, and people approaching me and asking for information on me would not have come to light. The intimidation and victimization from immigration would not have come to light. This man who harassed me the day I resigned was not a friend of mine, so no one would have linked him to me. I only knew him due to his relationship with a colleague of mine. I had been warned by this man to run and keep running next time when I had seen him in the street weeks earlier. So this incident the day I resigned seemed pre-planned. Immigration management, the Home Office HR, the police, MI5, data protection departments from immigration and MI5, and the IPT all knew about this, but couldn't investigate as it was not their department, or I was too late by the time I felt safe and well enough to raise my concerns. People were ending up having breakdowns or suicidal, and no one could investigate. I was told I was too mentally fragile to go to a tribunal by my solicitor when this happened to me. I couldn't openly talk about what I had been told, and knew the details would have caused extreme distress for others at the time, especially my mother, as she had been spoken about by this man. I had to relocate home from Kent. I was told to reapply for my job and was denied occupational health support and a chance of a managed move once immigration knew why I had spent time in a psychiatric hospital. I had to leave a college course in London I had paid £5,000 for. Had I not applied for MI5, it would have been straightforward to deal with. This man told me it was no accident I was thinking I'd have a breakdown, and that I wasn't anonymous. MI5 and immigration failed in a duty of care and nearly caused my suicide. Luckily, they just ruined my future, and I can finally highlight what happened. Why am I telling people this? I did an IPT case recently with full details about what had happened, and they said it was vexatious. Data protection at MI5 would neither confirm nor deny if they had any information on me, and it took them 10 months to confirm this. It was only recently that a data protection request could be done at MI5. I now know that MI5 and the IPT won't help me. I was diagnosed with cancer last year, and I would not feel happy to have lost 15 years of my life trying to get answers without their truth coming out. It seems there is a loophole. If you speak about harassment involving MI5, the authorities don't want to know. I didn't want to know, but it was brought to my attention, and I've had to suffer the consequences for years. How many suicides and breakdowns will there be before the Home Office and MI5 stop these things from happening? I found out I wasn't the first to suffer a breakdown at my department in the Home Office due to a harassment case. HR and my managers basically forced me into a breakdown to resign, and they handed me a cast iron court case. In hindsight, had I known MI5 would deny all knowledge of me and not help me, I would have gone to court. I have to think about the horrific details I was told on a daily basis, and it's been distressing that people knew about what I was told and wouldn't investigate it or help me. But being told I have been filmed, spied on, and betrayed or manipulated by people I know in my private, work and family lives is the most horrific thing I have gone through. It was like attempted grooming, and personally, I wouldn't work with any department that plays with people's mental health and denies all knowledge of their involvement. MI5 could have cleared this up 15 years ago, but they directed me to the police, who MI5 then didn't help, and they directed me to HR, one of the people who forced my breakdown and resignation. This was not exactly a duty of care from a department that apparently I wasn't anonymous from.